Smashing Pumpkins, Luna. Let's play through all the different sections of the song. Afterwards, I'll go back through and give you some explanation, let you know what's going on. Please help out the channel. Hit that subscription button. Coming out with tons of videos. You don't want to miss it. And let's get on into this. Luna by Smashing Pumpkins. Okay, so two guitars going on here. One, is just kind of playing some chords, clean chords, and then we have that cool like sitar effect on the second one. Let's start here with the intro progression, and this is also like the verse progression going on here. We'll start here with some interesting voicings. This will be a D major 7 suspended second with an A bass note, technically. It's just kind of like a D major 7 with the A bass note in there. So we do 5 on the E, 5 on the A, and do the 7 on the D, 6 on the G, and the 5 on the B. So it's almost like we're making the bottom half of that, A chord just down a set. But it sounds cool. You just want to give that a couple strums. Maybe hit the bass notes on the way back up. And then we transition to this E chord, which is an E13 without a third. And with that, we're just going to kind of start with the bass notes on that. So the low open E with the 7 on the A. We'll just hit like a few of them. And then we kind of fill out into the rest of the chord, which we add the open D. And we're going to just keep that 6 on the G through everything we do here. So just kind of use that as your anchor point from where you're pivoting to chords here. All right, so 6 on that G, and then we come back to that 5 on the B eventually too. Just kind of slowly filling out the chord as we play through it. Okay. All right, just hitting all the parts of the chord as we get further and further into it. And we're going to go between that initial D major 7 with the A to the E13. We're going to go through that 3 times. And after we do that 3 times, we're just going to get to a regular A chord. And, you could play it bar chord style if you like, but I kind of like to keep the opens ringing through this. So we'll just do the open A and then put the 7 on the D, 6 on the G, because we're not moving that throughout this whole intro and verse. Keep that 6 on the G, and 5 on the B here. And then for, you know, a little accent at the end, you can add that 7 on the B. Okay, it's up to you. Makes it a 6 there. All right, so fun little voicings here, interesting progressions. Let's try it all up to speed here. And for the intro and the verse, we get the sitar effect going, and it's just busting out this riff here. It's like a bend and release on the 6 of the G, off to 4. Just go through that 3 times, and then just finish on 2 of the G. Chorus gets going here, and we'll keep the fun chords going. They'll start with the A9, and technically this is kind of like the A that's coming off of that very last verse that we just came off of. So, you know, after we would go through the verse, you know, 2-3 times, whatever it is, when we hit that final A, this is the start of the chorus. All right, and do this voicing here where we just, you can leave, where we leave the 5 off of the B, so it's an A9, no huge difference there. All right, and this is going to be kind of a descending bass note thing that's happening here. So we start from there, and then we just move down 5 on the D to 4 on the G, keeping the open A and the open B. So we've kind of got that descending feeling going on here. And then we get to the F sharp. So F sharp suspended with the A bass note still. So we're keeping that open A, and we just do the 4 on the D, 4 on the G, and a 2 on the B. Right, and then we finish on this chord, which is a D6, 9. We just kind of pivot, keep the 4 on the D, and then make a 2 on the G with the 5 on the A. Kind of a stretch there. Keep the open B and E under it. Alright. And this you could just strum a few times. It's kind of in sync with the vocal there. Alright. We would go through the A9, the G, A bass note with the F sharp, go through that section again. Everything except for that last D6 and 9 again. When we get to that final F sharp, we just keep that F sharp going through the measure. We don't do the D6 on the second time around. All right, the last half of the chorus here switches up a little bit. We'll start with a B minor 7 in this voicing. Okay, just a 2 and an open. Skipping strings here, like 2A, open D, 2G, open B, 2E. Kind of a fun chord. Okay. Next chord of the measure, G. It's a normal G chord. Next measure, full measure of A suspended 2. Back to that B minor 7. To the G. And then just to a regular D5. Alright, and then everything kind of mellows out and we get this little interesting voicing. It's an A suspended, and we just do open A and D with the 9 on the G. And we're going to give that 9 on the G like a slow bend and release, and then just kind of strum through the midsection of the chord a little bit. Do that twice. The second guitar during the chorus sections, it's also coming off that final A of the previous verse, and with that, it's just hitting that 2 on the G that we usually leave off with. And then it does, once we get to the F sharp in the chorus, it'll do its a little bend thing, but it just ends on a different note. Still bends at 6 on the G. And instead of going to the 4 on the G, it goes to the 4 on the D for that F sharp, okay? And it does that twice in the first chorus. Every time we get to the F sharp. All right. And once we get down the line a bit to the later part of the chorus, and we get to that A suspended second chord, then we do this bit. It's a pre-bent 5 on the B and release off to 3, and then we do 2 3 2. Once we get into the second verse and the second chorus, there's some slight variations that are going on with the second guitar. It still does the same coming off of the second on the G. All right, and then it'll do the bend, typical bend, 6 on the G to the 4 on the D once we get to the F sharp. All right, and then the second chorus, once we get to the F sharp again, it does a little something different where we bend the 4 on the D and release it. And then we go back and forth between the 4, 5, 4 on the D. Scale up a bit with the 4D, 2G, 4G to the 2 on the B, back to a couple 4s on the G. A little bit of scale there. Down the line here, we get to that A suspended second in the back end of the second chorus, and then we do this hammer-on pull-off riff that cranks out pretty quick here. We'll go through it 3 times. We go 2 3 2 open on the B, back to 2 3. Okay, and it just cranks out pretty quick. Okay, goes through it 3 times and it just lands on the 5 of the B. A little bit of an interlude section at the end of the second chorus. It's essentially what we usually do. We just do it, a lot more. So instead of just doing the one bend on the 9G with that A suspended chord, we do it 2 times per measure and then just do the whole thing like 4 times. Okay, something like that. We would keep that chord going, that A suspended chord, once the outro kicks in. So we just keep that chord for a few strums. And move to this just kind of bass notes here with the open E and the 7 on the A. Give it a couple more strums. Move down to a D on the 5 of the A, keeping that low E, and then just back to the 7. All right, go through that whole section 3 times. All right, and then just finish with the A chord. And we'll just repeat those last couple measures there throughout the outro here. Outro guitar 2 has a new little riff. Pre-bent 2nd on the B, release it, come to 2G, hit the open E, and then we go open E, 2nd B, 2G, 4G. At the end, we just kind of scale up this A chord. All right, we start with our normal A. And then we do a little step up here with the open A, 9D, 7G. Slide that up 2 frets, so we're 11 on the D with the 9 on the G. All right, and then we just finish that by doing this high voicing of the A with the 11D, 9G, 10B, and 12E. Thanks for checking out the video, everybody. Like it, share it, leave a comment. It's always good to hear from you. Do me a favor and hit the subscription button. I put out a video pretty frequent, so you don't want to miss out on that. Check out the links in the description box below. I have really cool links for tablature books, all the gear I use, t-shirts, fun stuff like that. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.